There can only be one winner, and you're looking at him. Let's go.
Welcome to the toggle guide. As you can see right below me is what many like to call the toggle button. Why am I an expert at the toggle button? Because I've been messing with this toggle button for 5 years in freaking Duel Links, and it works exactly the same in this game. How do you enable this toggle button? To enable the toggle button, you're going to have to go into the settings, go into Duel, and make sure I'm not covering up the freaking screen. As you can see, the activation confirmation right here is what you're going to turn on. Make sure it's not on auto. Make sure it's on switch. All right. Now you have the toggle auto. What is the auto? If it's on auto, there's 3 modes. There's off, there's on, there's auto. Auto is majority going to be when you are using it. Most of the time, that's when you're going to use it. Now, auto means that you have a Konami assistant tapping your shoulder on when they think you want to activate your quick effects. You understand that? It is literally a Konami assistant. And it's to the point where they will change the auto to work differently around certain cards. So for example, if we have a card like Nibiru, Nibiru will ask you with auto if you would like to use it at the end of your opponent's main phase. If you have any other card that activates during your opponent's turn or you have it set like a Max C, it's not going to ask you at the end of the main phase because the Konami assistant has programmed Max C with the default settings. The default settings of the auto of when the game's going to ask you to Max C is going to be on a summon, on an attack declaration, on an activation of a card, and at the end of your opponent's turn, not yours. Those are the 4 default autos. Now, if you have a card like Chalice that works in the damage step, this will ask you in the damage step with auto. They try their best to make it work well. They want you to not be messing with this button, so any way they can to adjust it will be good. But if you have your toggle on auto, then you're a free win, literally against a card like this. This is the 3rd, 4th most popular card in the game. If you don't know how the toggle works and your opponent summons this, you lose. You're done. You absolutely are done. So why is that? The access code talker says that you cannot respond to it activating its effects, and on summon it activates. Well, if you have impermanence, you want to stop the access code talker from wiping your entire field, which when it activates, you can't chain your imperm. So with your toggle on auto, they're going to summon the access code. You can't activate imperm. Then the access code's going to activate. You can't chain imperm. They're going to destroy your imperm, destroy your other monsters, attack for game. You lose. That's with auto. Because the game is set to auto only respond on the activation, on a summon, on an attack declare, and the end phase. But there's another window where we want to use our imperm or a card like it, like Effect Veiler or Chalice, all right? And that is on the resolution of gaining attack. Normally with quick effects, like imperm, you could use them in the draw phase, in the standby phase. If your opponent sets a card, if your opponent resolves a card that doesn't result in a summon, the auto's not going to tell you to activate. So if they were to summon, everyone knows Stratos, right? If someone summons Stratos and it activates, that's when it will ask you to use your imperm or your Max C. And on the resolution of Stratos, it's not going to ask you to use your card again. Why? For good reason, because that's redundant. It makes the game tedious. So it's your job to know when to make the game tedious and redundant for yourself, so you know when to activate your cards. So again, on the resolution of the access code talker, you want to have your toggle on auto. Oh, you got to be quick? No. As soon as you see access code talker, you kind of do need to be quick. You got to turn that toggle on. So access code talker is going to activate, become 5300, and before it starts popping you, with your toggle on, it will ask you to use your imperm to negate it from destroying your fields. It will ask you to use The effect veiler. If you don't have on your toggle, you're done. You lose with auto. You lose. You're done. So that's an example of auto versus on. Now, why would you want to toggle off? Why off? Sometimes you want to toggle off, and let's see if I could draw a card that will be a good example of why I want to be off. So let's pot a D, banish 10, draw 2. Max C. Every time I do a card, the Max C wants to activate, right? It's annoying. It's actually annoying. It's really bothersome. So what I like to do, if I know I'm not going to use my Max C in my hand, I turn my toggle off. But that's scary, right? It could be scary. If you have a trigger effect on the fields or in the grave, your trigger effects will still work with your toggle on off. If you have a quick effect in the hand, or a quick effect in the fields, or a trigger effect in your hand, toggle off will make it so it won't be activatable, okay? But trigger effects on the fields or in the grave will still work. So with Dragon Maid on summon, it's an optional effect. I could on summon search, and with my toggle off, it will still do the play. It will still be able to use with it off. So let me search a card real quick. You don't want to negate your own card. So I'm going to send a card to the graveyard. Let's send the Tidying. And hopefully the opponent has a way to destroy my card. Now with toggle on, when is it going to tell me to use my Max C? I don't want to use it. I don't want to use it. I don't want to use it. So that's really annoying, right? Now, for some cards, not the Max C right here, sometimes you do want to preempt the Max C. If your opponent enters the main phase, they have turn player priority to perform an action, and you will not be able to Max C before that action. So you want to toggle on with your Max C if you plan on using it in the draw phase or standby phase. Now, why would you want to do that? I'm trying to use cards you know. Here's a popular card that does not activate when it goes to special summon. So if you know you're playing against a Lyra Lust deck, you might want to preemptively drop the Max C, which you need your toggle on to do to get that first draw. Another good time to preempt the Max C if you have no idea what you're playing against is you are confident that you're going to win the duel if your opponent cannot disrupt you this turn. If you got the follow-up play to win the duel, you could preempt the Max C with the toggle on. All right? So, let's pass. To the activation is what auto would do. On the resolution, that is when you would, with toggle on, show you to do. Sometimes on the resolution of card effects is when you want to activate, and that's why you don't want toggle on auto all the time. And do you notice something about the fields? My field's lighting up. My field is lit. It's lit. If your field's lit up, you're telling your opponent you have a card. If they activate the mountain and the field's lighting up, then what could be the card that's activatable? You know what they probably think it is? Because if they know Dragon Maid, they probably think it's Tidying, but if I didn't have Tidying, I'm revealing I have Max C. I'm literally telling them, hey, I got Max C. So sometimes an advanced trick would be to toggle off, not only on your turn to not be bothered by your own quick effects from your hand, but if you toggle off, you could hide. But also if you're quick, watch this. I'm going to be very quick, and my field's not going to light up if I'm quick. I didn't light up. There you go. There you go. I'm not lighting up. They don't know I have Max C. I could toggle off, or I could spam the right click, or I could spam the escape, and it never turns on. My field does not turn on. You got to be quick. So if you want to be neurotic, that could be a way. Another way to play with the toggle is using the hold settings. So what this does, if I left click, my toggle's on. If I right click, my toggle's off. That's how the simulators work. If you want to play like that, that's kind of cool. It's kind of crazy. Now you might be thinking, Dkayed, it's so rare that you're actually going to need the toggle. Come on, let's get real. When am I ever going to toggle on that's inherent to a deck type that's really important besides countering the access code talker? You got me there. But what else? Well, sometimes your deck uses cards that need the toggle on or it's not going to work. Phantom Knight Fogblade says that the monster cannot be targeted for attacks. So a cool trick could be if your opponent has 20 big Blue Eyes White Dragons and Dark Magicians on the field, you could Fog Blade your own monster before the attack. But if your toggle's on auto, you are likely going to miss the opportunity to make it so your monster cannot be attacked. We just in the tournament had an example like this, I'll tell you. So what you do is with your toggle on, at the start of the battle phase, you activate Fog Blade onto your own card, and now your own card cannot be targeted for an attack. If you activate it in response to the attack declaration, they already targeted you for an attack. If you cannot be targeted, but you're already being targeted, it's too late. So a big card is Link Karibo. We saw this in the tournament. Link Karibo says that it's only activatable when your opponent declares an attack. But that's when the prompt will ask you to use card effects. So Link Karibo in the graveyard has the quick effect to summon itself onto the field, but it's only going to ask you to do that on an attack declaration. So what happened in the tournament is the opponent declared an attack. The game asked them, yeah, my toggle's on auto. I'm going to summon Link Karibo. So they activate Link Karibo. They tribute a level 1. They summon Link Karibo. But now we're beyond the declared attack. We're now doing an attack replay. And then attacks the Link Karibo. And the Link Karibo cannot activate the effect to turn the monster into 0 attack. That's a huge mistake. But how do you get around that? Very easy. Let me turn on the toggle. So let's never have it on auto. The switch, toggle on. How do we do that Link Karibo play that happened in the tournament? This card's quite popular, by the way. At the start of the battle phase, before the attack is declared, you're going to activate the Link Karibo to tribute your monster on the field, to summon this onto the field before the attack is declared. That is so freaking important. Now I'm going to show you with Dragon Maids that your deck sucks if you're not playing with the toggle on, okay? The deck is trash. It's really bad. So let me show you with on why it's important. To showcase myself setting this up, I'm going to normal summon the Dragon Maid with my toggle off. Look, she's still asking. She's still asking. I'm going to send my tidying from the deck to the graveyard, but now I have to turn my toggle back to auto because I want to trigger the effect of the Noctovision Dragon, which is a trigger in the hand. It's not going to ask if I have my toggle on off. So right now I saved myself from a prompt where the Maxi wanted to activate. That's good on me. So with my toggle on auto, I'm going to summon. Wait for it to activate. Now that it's asking to activate, I could turn my toggle back off. Now I don't have to be bothered. Now I'm good. Nocto Dragon has another trigger effect that's optional, and I don't need my toggle on or auto to use. So ready? I'm not going to be bothered by Max C. I'm just going to make Heavenly Spheres, and the game's going to ask me to use the trigger effect, but won't bother me with Max C. I mean, it's going to be, because it's activating with it, it will then, but Max C is not going to be bothering me for other prompts. Toggle off, it's activating. So it will ask me to chain to it if I have my toggle on auto. So it is the only one that's activating, by the way. All right? Toggle off, there you go. Not being Gia, not during the tutorial. So now that I have my toggle off, that I was not bothered by Max C. I still got my trigger effect, and I'm good. Now, let's see if I want to toggle on and why I want to toggle on. On my own end phase, I don't want to be bothered by this. This is not good. Hey, look. If you play against someone that's turning this on their turn, then they're revealing that they have something activatable. Yes, this card's activatable, so they could think it's that. But it's very important to have your toggle on in the start of the battle phase, and I'll show you why. We're gonna wait. So I do with this deck, I do toggle on. I have 0 attack. It's gonna be the end of the main phase, start of the battle phase. This is so important, so I'm gonna hide my camera real quick because it shows that we are in the start of the battle phase. So what I'm going to do is I can use my tidying or my Hieratic Seal to get a Dragon Maid onto the field. So what I could do with the Parlor Dragon, it says only at the start of the battle phase can you return this to the hand to summon a level 8 Dragon Maid. So let's try that out. I'm going to tidying, banish, at the start, summon, okay, activate, and you need your toggle on to do this. It only works at the start of the battle phase. I'm going to send a dragon from the deck to the grave. This summons a level 8. Let's send a level 8. And then with the toggle on still, I'm going to wait. It's going to activate at the start of the battle phase. I'm not done. I'm not done. I've only just begun, okay? I'm going to summon this big fat dragon on the field. You thought that's it? No. Now we're flaming. I'm going to, still at the start of the battle phase, you have to stay at the start of the battle phase. Believe me, I was playing against Outlich. I didn't have my toggle on. They attacked and I got screwed. I'm going to activate this. I'm going to tribute itself. Start of the battle phase, toggle on. You can't do this with your toggle on auto. Start of the battle phase, activate. Okay, get ready. I'm going to summon this one. This one is going to send a dragon. This one could summon a level 8 dragon, so let's do that. Let's activate. Let's add a level 8 dragon. This is a level 8 dragon. We're going to discard that level 8 dragon. Still with my toggle on. This deck literally sucks if you don't have toggle on. I'm going to send it. And then, look, I'm still at the start of the freaking battle phase, and you can't do this with toggle auto. You can't. It's freaking nuts. What the heck was that? That's crazy. Toggle auto, you couldn't do that. So sometimes, you know, it sucks that you're going to have to know when to toggle on for certain decks, but now you know why. And look, we'll let the maxi bother us for the rest of the duel with the toggle. Look, a card. Did you know you could respond to a set card? You could. Did you know you could respond to the end of the main phase? You could. Now, end phase, this is when it would normally ask you. And then you already know from the maxi. I'll show you. I'll show you how bothersome it is, why I don't always want to be toggle on. That's annoying. I'm pissed. What the heck? Okay, let's just set this. No, come on. Set. Oh, come on. Leave me alone. Maxi, stop, chill. It has no chill. So you don't always want to play with on, okay? So there you go. These are the examples of on, auto, off. It's going to be different for certain decks. It's going to be the same for certain cards. And there you go. Thank you. Love you. Fools.